This is Digital Anarchist at Jenkins World Lisbon 2019.
Hey, good day everyone. It's Alan Schimmel back here in Lisbon, Portugal for DevOps World Jenkins World 2019 Europe. It's really kind of day zero here as the expo hall doesn't open till this evening, and tomorrow most of the sessions start. Today is a day for training. It's also a day for the vendors to get set up and get things moving along. And I'm happy to be joined by our next guest here. It's Jaime Jorge.
That's perfect.
Okay, I'm getting there. You're making me feel good. Thanks, Jaime. Jaime's with a company called Codacy that we have not introduced to our audience before. So we thought we'd take this time and give you an introduction to Codacy and what it's all about. So Jaime, why don't you take it?
Of course. First, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure.
Codacy standardizes quality for some of the best and largest software development companies in the world. We make sure that you run static code analysis, code coverage, code duplication, code complexity, and every single pull request that you create. And when it's time to merge or to put code in production, we can help you make sure that everyone is developing with the same criteria. So 500 companies around the world trust us with their code, with their quality, with their criteria to make sure that code is being put into production with quality.
And Jaime, this is sold as sort of a software as a service kind of model?
Exactly. So we have essentially two ways of operating our software. One is SaaS, Codacy.com. You can sign up very easily with your favorite login OAuth provider, if you will. Or we have an on-prem version of our software we can run behind the scenes in your own infrastructure, where it's completely up to you how data is managed.
Excellent. And so you went over the disparate areas, the different areas. Today, so much of testing is based on open source libraries.
Exactly.
And Selenium and so forth. Is that available through Codacy? Or is there more to it, less to it?
Of course.
What's the makeup there?
So what we identify is that many of our customers already use open source code analysis tools, linters, right? Beyond obviously what they already get from their vendors. What we do great work in is we aggregate all these tools to make sure that they have a unique, seamless experience. So if you will, the 0 to 1 with static code analysis is very powerful with our tool, right?
Sure.
So you have a full coverage for most programming languages, more than 4,000 code analysis tools integrated. And so when you choose Codacy, you get the best knowledge in the community for code analysis.
Excellent. Now, companies based here in Portugal, in Lisbon, or?
Yeah, we have an office here in Lisbon. Most of our development is here. We also have presence in the Bay Area, in New York as well, but we're adopting remote because that's how our customers are using our product. And so we want to completely be closer to how developers are. Yeah.
And then I should have asked you this to begin with. I apologize. What's your position with Codacy?
Of course. So I'm CEO and co-founder. So the whole company started with my master thesis back at university. I wanted to help the university's information system to be more, cohesive, less code duplication, and that's how it really started with my co-founder João Caixaria here in Lisbon. But it sprawled into helping thousands and thousands of developers every day developing code, and so here we are today.
Exciting. One of the things is, as we've seen the maturity, not that it's mature yet, but as we've seen the maturity of this CI/CD life cycle, software development life cycle, whatever you want to call it, with DevOps and stuff like that, we're also starting to see a little bit more of a maturity with testing.
Completely.
I think, and it probably hurt more than it helped. One of the problems I'm doing DevOps.com 6 years. One of the problems when I first got into DevOps, maybe 7 years ago even, was this thought process that we would be able to automate all testing.
Everything.
Right? Yeah, we're going to automate everything. QA people, you're out of a job, right? Because all this testing is going to be automated now. And the reality, as often is the case, the reality is different than the dream. How much of testing does your company help to automate versus people still going to have to do some call it custom work or whatever you
Of
want to call
course.
it.
So what we set ourselves to do, and really also the genesis of the whole company was, we were seeing development teams focusing on things that did not provide at the end business value. And that was, code style and best practices and basic security. And we found out, obviously through analysis and tons of interviews, that corresponded to roughly 30% of code review. And that's really one of our focus areas. What we wanted to do is to help as much as we could automate that, call it, low-hanging fruit, if you will, to make sure that people focus on the things that really do matter. And that's, the functionality, the semantics, the deep security vulnerabilities, the architectural, the design decisions. And so we believe that not everything could be automated, but the things that you should automate. And so that's really why we exist. And so obviously with the trend of security shifting left, we want to bring as much insights into the development process as we can, as early as we can. And that's what we're doing for many of our customers. But we believe that much of the developer attention should be focused on what's going to be ending up in the customer screen. Absolutely.
I know you mentioned that the Codacy is really geared towards large enterprises. Yeah. SaaS-based product. I'm not asking you to put your price list out here, but give us an idea of what is it, a monthly reoccurring revenue kind of model?
Exactly. So we the value that you get from our product is based on the activity or the number of developers that you have. So it's a priced per seat model. On our SaaS offering, we charge $18 per seat per month. Right? On the enterprise, it really changes depending on the size of the organization. So we tend to adopt a more scalable solution there. And so that really depends on the organization needs. We put a lot of effort to understanding the initiatives, the pain points. We go sometimes even to, on site to understand the biggest development initiatives in terms of quality. And so we'll create a custom pricing that is adjusted to each company. And that's how we've been operating.
Absolutely. So, Jaime, one of the things I've noticed, I was in San Diego 2 weeks ago for KubeCon, 12,000 people. Crazy.
A lot of traveling.
Yeah, I do a lot of traveling. It's the business we choose. But it was a phenomenal, and they're going to be one here in Amsterdam in the end of March. If you can go, I would highly recommend it. Great. 12,000 people in San Diego, all around cloud native, cloud and DevOps and so forth. And one of the things that really became obvious to me there is that in today's world, right, the people who are making the decisions over what tools to use, what testing services, which tests to run, are no longer necessarily the CTO, the CIO, or a VP, maybe even not a director. It's kind of the democratization of IT, right? Where individual developers and DevOps people, they're choosing.
Yeah.
They're choosing with their credit cards, because at $18 a seat a month, it's not crazy, right? They're choosing with their feet, where if you don't give them the tools they want to use, because they can get jobs. They're in high demand right now for a lot of money. They go work anywhere they want. They're saying, we want to use the tools. How does that, so that's a new reality. When I was, let's say I'm much older than you, but I am. When I was your age and starting companies, we wanted to reach the CTO and the CIO and the CXO, CFO, right? Because they were the decision makers. They were the guys signing the check. In today's world, that's not true. How does that reality kind of affect as the CEO of your company?
Of course. Well, developers are truly the kingmakers, right? What they choose, because they are empowered to do so, will end up being winning solutions in the market. What we see in practice is that technology gets adopted bottom up, especially in the development departments, right? So you normally see teams of developers because they're empowered to choose what they want to use. And if your technology wins, it's good enough, it will propagate to other teams. We've seen time and time again in our own product, because we focus so much on making a great product that one product gets adopted by 100 developers, it's very likely that will get adopted by 200 in the following months, and then critical mass hits, and you use that leverage to then go talk to the decision makers in higher in the organization. Decision maker becomes then, obviously, as you're saying, such a vague term, because the decision makers actually will be the developers, because they end up being the first point,
right.
not really just influencing, but actually buying the product.
Right.
So it's a bottom-up game.
Yeah.
The only thing you can focus really is developing the best in-class product you can.
I think that's the key. I think the key for those people at home, right? If whether you're working for a vendor or you're a developer, your job today has to be like delivering delight to developers,
exactly
right? Developers got to say, man, I like that tool. I want to use that. And whether we adopt it at 1,000 seats or we're just going to use it here on my little team with the 3 of us or 5 of us, that's okay. That's the tool I'm going to use. And then it's not like once they give it a try, you have to continue delivering delight.
Exactly that.
Right? And so that's a different, it's a
Mindset.
very different world where, we used to do a release once a year or twice a year, the biggest question we would get asked is, what's your roadmap look like? Let me show you my roadmap, and I try to show them things we're going to develop 2 years out.
Yeah.
That wouldn't, it's a different world today. No,
completely.
It doesn't cut it today at all. Is this your first Jenkins World, DevOps World? Have you guys been here?
Yeah, it is my first Jenkins
So
World.
what are your expectations?
Look, I'm very excited about it. We're obviously sponsors, very proud of that. We hope to get obviously more insight into what not only 2020 will hold for DevOps, but also key product announcements, key conversations around how our teams facing the biggest challenges in terms of putting products in production. So we love Jenkins in Codacy. We think it's a phenomenal tool, and most of our customers use it. We expect that over time, with a lot of announcements that we'll have today and in the next over coming days, that we'll see all the biggest excitement around 2020. So we're very excited about this event.
Cool. Let me ask you, I mentioned KubeCon,
Yeah.
Cloud Native Con earlier. What, if any, like Kubernetes seems to be taking the world by storm, right? So what kind of influence has Kubernetes played on what you guys are doing or what you're planning?
Massive. It started with a small buzz from conversation with customers to being a requirement. And so I can tell you that most of our roadmap in 2019 was putting Codacy ready for Kubernetes. Because from the clusters that we're seeing in practice from many of our customers, from very large financial institutions to large software development houses, Kubernetes became a must, not only a topic.
Right.
And so, very big.
Yeah. And I would imagine it's going to continue.
We expect that. We're making a large investment in that.
A lot of stuff going on there.
Completely.
All right, man. Hey, Jaime, we're almost out of time. I started my timer late, but the clock in my head tells me we've got to be coming up on 15 minutes. But first of all, thanks for coming to join us today. Thank you for introducing our audience to Codacy.
Thanks for having
me.
me.
And good luck with that, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
Pleasure
having me. A
meeting
pleasure
you.
to be here. Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Alan Schimmel for DevOps.com. We're live on the Digital Anarchist Network, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, digitalanarchist.live, as well as all of our media ops properties. We'll be back in just a little bit with another guest from Jenkins World, DevOps World here in Lisbon.